right, why don't we go ahead and get started? I do apologize for the construction that we have going on. We are rebuilding the patio outside, and we're just with the rain, some things have gotten delayed, and we get the concrete guys when we can get the concrete guys. So this morning we are a little bit of an adventure to get here. But thank you all for coming this morning and welcome to the AIM Center. Today we are going to talk a little bit about tinkering with tessellations. There are some bagels and bars and coffee and water, whatever you want over here. If anytime you want to get up and get some of that, you can. Restrooms are down the hall, outside down the hall, and to the left, sorry. You'll find those there. And anytime you need that, that's just fine as well. So we will, throughout the morning, be creating different things, and we would like to share our what we have designed, both here and online. And so we've created a Padlet. Here is a QR code that goes to that Padlet, and I'll be showing it from time to time. You can click on that and then take pictures of your creations and be able to post it to that Padlet and share that with everyone there. And as I said, for those of you who are online, we have sent you a packet, but there are some materials that you will need: tape, scissors, pen, pencil, markers, crayons, that will be helpful throughout the morning. And for those of you here, you have that in the center of your table. So, first question, if we're going to work with tessellations, what is a tessellation? What is that mean? Well, we find that a tessellation is simply a tiling that has a repetitive pattern of one or more shapes within it. Welcome. Come on and take a seat anywhere. And it can be a pattern which is rather simple, can be a pattern which is complex. But to be a true tessellation, you find that the shapes cannot overlap with each other, and there cannot be any empty spaces or voids between those repetitive shapes. And we can create that pattern by translating, sliding, rotating, or reflecting, mirroring that image, or those individual shapes or tiles. There's a rich history of tessellations throughout human history. The Sumerians in 4000 BC, 6,000 years ago, shows the early evidence of tessellations in clay tablets, pattern designs on walls. Other ancient cultures such as Egyptians, Persians, Romans, Greeks, Arabs, Japanese, all adopted tessellation techniques within their art and architecture. Moroccan architecture especially is very beautiful with its geometric tiling. Medieval art uses tessellations and stained glass patterns. One of my favorite, and we'll be talking about him a little bit later, is M.C. Escher. He's a Dutch graphic artist who is known for his tessellations within his artwork, and he's done some fantastic things in this, I was going to say this century, but I guess it's not this century. But so, where do we find tessellations? Anybody tell me? Where do you see some repetitive pattern? In nature. Nature. We do. Nature is very good at repetitive patterns, building repetitive patterns. Where do we see those? Can you think about what you've talked about in school? Where is nature, do you see repetitive patterns? What is this here? Yeah, bee's nest, a honeycomb, right? That's a repetitive pattern of hexagons. And that's where they store their honey, where they store their eggs. It's an efficient way of using material, their wax, to create a home for them. And so and they do that in a tessellated pattern. We also find that reptiles, fish scales, lizards often form tessellated patterns. If you look at a pineapple is arrangement, if it scales on its surface, is tessellated. Plant cells often are arranged in tessellated patterns. And in human architecture, we see tessellations a lot of different places, in designs, decorations, art, wallpaper, mosaics, quilts, origami, stained glass patterns, even arrangements of bricks on wall we can consider as being a form of tessellations. So here's some examples of the honeycomb, the fish scales, and pineapple. All natural forms of tessellations. So there are some shapes that tessellate really well, and there's some shapes, geometric shapes, that don't tessellate quite as well. Which shapes do you think tessellate would be good ones to tessellate? Any ideas? What shapes fit together well without, remember, they need to fit together well and not have any gaps in between them. Hexagons, yeah, bees know what they're doing, don't they? Yeah. Triangles fit, you can put triangles together without any gaps, squares, rectangles, right? What about circles? Yeah, circles have a hard time getting together without having some gaps in between. So circles and ovals would have a hard time tessellating. So here are some simple examples of tessellations. There are your hexagons, squares, triangles, all good examples of tessellations. So I've talked too much. We're here to play. What I wouldn't want to do is you all have a packet in front of you, or you have a packet at home. If you open that up, you should find that you have a set of colored patterns, colored paper with patterns on it, squares, hexagons, and triangles. I believe they're all the same colors. The squares should be blue, the triangles should be magenta, pink. What do we want to call that? And the hexagons are orange. So what I'd like you to do is to take those strips of paper out first, and then you'll need to cut out your hexagons, cut out your triangles, cut out your squares. So there's a little bit of cutting you'll need to do. But go ahead and do that, and then we're going to arrange those shapes in terms of tessellation and make tessellated patterns. Okay? So once again, take out those colored geometric shapes, squares, hexagons, and triangles, and cut those then into individual shapes.
Steve, are we cutting out all of the little itty bitty squares?
Yes,
Okay.
those are going to be our tiles for tessellation.
Got it.
I'm afraid I will. That's nice. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to cut all the triangles and squares, but you want a large enough pile that you can, we'll be tessellating with them, so you will need quite a few. Oh, well.
Yes.
Portugal. The tiles have a name.
Mosaics.
They have a name about it. Would that count as a tessellation?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, some of the, I hope someday to go to Portugal and see those.
That's pretty.
Oh, really? Wonderful. Well, certainly Portugal and Spain are high on that list, but we see tessellations in all across the globe and tapestries and stained glass.
Egypt. Are there any,
I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up.
Any of the pyramids, right?
I would love to see some of the pyramids. Valley of the Kings.
They kind of told them spots. It wasn't that. That was the same. All throughout the public.
It is a repetitive pattern of with the same shape.
Yeah. You have like three shapes and use those on a sequential.
You can. It doesn't have to be one shape. It can be a series of shapes. Give you just a couple more minutes of cutting out, and then we'll take what we have and start tessellating. Practicing our scissor skills.
I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Most of the people here.
We have to do it smarter, right?
Yeah. Oh, I teach people. Are you in that?
The room.
You and Bill. We do have two on that.
You know, I mean, it's nice not to be.
Stronger and sharper.
And that's what we do. I went to the fest. And then we started. Like, a lot of like, the subject we're taking architecture right now.
Okay, triangle down.
Yeah, so I'm transitioning over to all of the shared devices and PA stuff. Those are easier to do than all of the.
Oh,
Because we have extra things.
yeah.
My district partners with Head Start or marching. We have a Head Start partnership. We have.
Yeah.
Become a licensed classroom. And we get,
Yeah, that's where
A quick little announcement while you're cutting. In your packets, there's a media consent form. If you wouldn't mind, this would be like taking pictures and using them for websites or brochures or kind of things. If you wouldn't mind pulling out that media consent form, signing it, and then one of our young ladies in the back, wave your hands. They can pick them up. That would be great. Thank you, appreciate it.
Hey, one of your.
Oh, yeah.
after this.
All right, I think some of us are done cutting, some of us are still cutting, that's okay. What you have done is you've cut a selection of geometric shapes, hexagons, squares, and triangles. And the key here is that the side of those 6 sides of that hexagon is the same length as one side of my square. So if I butt them up against each other, they match. And my triangle, which is an equilateral triangle, all the sides are equal, is the same length as the side of one of those squares or the same length as the side of one of that hexagon, right? So that they match flush as when you put them up against each other. So what you can to begin to do then is create a pattern, a repetitive pattern using your hexagons, your squares, and your triangles. Now, you notice that I only had you cut out 3 or 4 hexagons where you cut out a whole lot of triangles and squares, right? Well, that's because the hexagon has 6 sides onto it, and so you can surround that with, for each hexagon, if you want to surround that with squares, you need 6 of them, 6 to 1 or 6 to 1 with triangles. So you need a little more of these triangles and squares than you do with the hexagons as you're putting those together. But it is up to you on how you want to put those together, what kind of tiling you want to do to create your tessellation. But there should be some blank pieces of paper in your packet if you want to lay that out so you have a white piece of paper and you can start pushing them together and do a repetitive pattern. Right now, I would suggest, I don't want you to glue things down or tape them down. I want you to just lay them down without attaching it to the paper. And let's see what kind of patterns we can come up with. All right. You're going to create your own geometric tessellation.
Did force everyone to do the same?
No, that's very good. No, not, a matter of fact, I am hoping that everyone will do a different one. You should be able to do, there should be many different ways of doing your tessellation. Now, some of them may look the same, but many of them should look different.
I have an extra piece of blank paper, but I'll just make it white.
Sure.
So why don't you just bring it on?
Some wonderful tessellations. Remember, tessellations is a repetitive design, so you think about how you're designing, you're creating a design and then repeating that next to it, as it connects.
If you wanna get the white paper and put yours on.
Yeah, you're growing the pattern. That's a good way of putting it. I like that. See, now that's very unique. I hadn't ever thought about turning your hexagon into a triangle like that. Or that there's a hexagon within a triangle. That I like that.
Oh my God, it's cute.
Contrast.
Ready for 10 shelf and Northeast exclusive glass boards with yourself. The year's happening right now. It's a perfect time to stock up on your favorite
They keep on moving. Oh, it's hard.
I'm seeing the repetitive patterns, tessellations beginning to evolve. And they are very different, even though we're using the same geometric shapes, hexagons, squares, and triangles. Patterns are very different. If you would like, you could, let's see if I can. If you'd like to post those on the Padlet, you certainly can.
No. That's the number. I can't do it.
Here, once again, is a QR code for the Padlet. If you'd like to take a picture and share your design. If you're happy with your design, you can use some tape or glue to attach that to your paper. Or if you would like to create a different design, you can do that too. Or if you'd like to just take the pieces home, maybe we could even find a small Ziploc bag for you to do
You're
that.
not done? Oh, I'm sorry. Can I borrow some of yours? I'm like, yeah, because you're faster.
Any more hexagons? Yeah.
Thank you. You could just find. But it's so cool.
I love that.
Look at them.
It's just something that you want, they don't want to do those.
Oh, this is your last one.
Right.
We can try a different tessellation. Some of you are putting the hexagons together. Some of them are spread apart. I'm always surprised at the different patterns that I see. I see a couple of patterns that I had not thought about are showing up today. You can see why mosaics in art are so varied and different. Such simple geometric shapes. Tremendous number of patterns.
No.
I don't think mine so far. I don't like mine so far. Oh, how does my dog? It's like, oh wow, that's good. Daddy made
Yeah. The word tessellation? Oh, that is a good question. I did come across that. He was named after a mathematician, I want to say in the 1700s. Yeah, or it was, I'd have to look that up again. I'm not sure it's somebody's name, but it was associated with him. Yeah. Yeah, no, wasn't Tesla. So as you're creating your tessellations, carefully examine your pattern. How do you know it is a tessellation? Remember the rules that you have to follow, it must follow to be a tessellation. Does it fulfill those rules? Take a look at your neighbor's tessellations. See how similar or different they are. I said, if you want, you can rearrange those completely differently to make another tessellation. If you want to lock that down and glue that in place, you can do that. Or we have passed around little Ziploc bags. If you want to just take your geometric shapes home, you can put them in that bag so they're not loose and easily to lose.
Now it's Daddy. Now it's sitting in the ocean in water. Mommy, you're I'm using no squares, zero squares. There is Mommy, where are we going? Mommy?
So and I. That's the dog. Yeah. Hey, I'm allowed to glue on mine. You're not. Can you copy me? What's the testimony? First of all, that was I used 3. Ready? Go. I mean, mine really pops. Girl. There's still be one right there. Really pop. I like that. Really pop.
But then they'll be copying me. Remember? We'll be copying each other.
Really good.
I gotta take it off now because.
We'll just do a few more minutes and then we move on to our next activity. We got a lot of things to do.
Oh, there's some.
Love what I'm seeing. Think about the different colors you could use. You're certainly not restricted by the shapes that we've used here, hexagons, squares, and triangles, but you could use many other different shapes. Again, the key with is that the sides match up, right? We chose squares that had a side length that was matched the length of the side of the hexagon and an equilateral triangle.
Yeah, I can't.
But think about those geometric shapes that tessellate well and what a variety of tessellations you could create using different geometric shapes. Like, let's go ahead and start cleaning up or putting your pieces into your bag if you have them still loose. That way you can use them to tessellate later.
Well.
Yeah, I want to.
Make really different cream cheeses.
So what we've done is we've created a geometric tessellation. We use geometric shapes to create a repetitive pattern. And as I said, that we see throughout history and art and architecture, we find that in many different places across the globe. But there are other ways to create tessellations, and we're going to take a look at those now. There are three simple ways to think about making a tessellation. One is called translation, one is rotation, and the other is inversion and translation together. And while those don't mean anything right now, they will in a moment. So let's start with translation. We're gonna look at and do a translation tessellation next. And the idea behind a translation tessellation, other than alliteration, is that you start. This is a visual example of what we're going to do. You start with a square, and then you're going to cut a piece out of one side of that square, and you're going to move that piece all the way across to the other side and tape that into place. And then you cut another piece out of the top of that square, on the top side of that square, and then you move it all the way across to the opposite side and tape it into place. And that creates, it's translating those pieces across to the other side, and that creates a tile, a tessellation tile that then will tessellate with itself. So in this case, you have one tile that will tessellate by itself, where you don't, where you had a hexagon triangles and squares. Now you just have one tile that does that. So you have in your pack what we call a fish tessellation, and it's a large sheet, and you'll find a square that is, I guess I've given it away. It is a fish, or will look like a fish when we're done, but it's a square that should look like this. And you'll need to cut that out along the perimeter, so it does looks like this. And then we will cut along the dotted lines and translate those pieces across and tape them in place to make our tessellation. And I'll do that with a dot camera as we have here. But the first step is to cut out along the perimeter, your square, before we make our tile. So once you have your square cut out, you notice that there's a dotted line, two pieces there that are dotted line on your square. You want to cut along that dotted line, cut out those two pieces, like I have done here. Maybe I can get a background. There we go. Cut out the square and then cut along those dotted lines. Good, looks like we're set.
Yeah.
So now you have I've arranged my pieces here and where I've cut them out. So like I said, we're doing a translation tessellation. So I've cut out this, what I call the headpiece, the head of what will be the fish. And you notice that this piece, it went from corner to corner. It was the whole side of that, right? And so I'm going to take that piece and I'm going to translate it to the other side of the square, and it matches up with the whole length of the other side. And there's a pattern there around the eye that matches, helps guide you into place, right? Now, don't tape it yet, because we'll actually want to tape it from the back because we want to color the front. So taping it from the back is the best thing to do. Now the fin doesn't take up the whole bottom side, right? It only takes up part of it, but it translates straight up, but it goes from the corner of the square and it will go up to the corner of the top edge, upper left-hand corner. And again, the spine of the fins help line that up. And so you went from a square now to a fish. Now, we've made a cartoon fish. Everyone say yay. Do you think that will tessellate? And that's very different than our geometric tessellations, isn't it? That where we could see between our hexagons and our squares and our triangles, those were pretty easy to look at those and say, oh yeah, we can fit those together. Those look like they'll fit together without spaces. They'll tessellate. This is a little bit harder, but we have to have faith that they will. So what I'd like you to do is to flip your fish over so it's on the back side, and tape your fish from the back side. And the reason for that is I'm going to want you to color the front side. I want you to make it a colorful tropical fish. And once your fish is decorated and is imaginative as you make it, then we're going to take all our fish together and we're going to tessellate it on. We're going to put them on the wall and we're going to tessellate them together and see if they fit together. So we're going to build our own tessellation wall.
All the way to the end or just to
The fin,
go right here or all the way?
just to there. Yep. Yeah, it's straight vertical from where it came from. So this is a very different type of looking tile than what we did with the geometric tile. Think about how you want to color your fish.
Yeah, no worries.
You can try, I don't have one.
Oh, if you would, the markers that we have do soak through the paper we're using. So if you could put a piece of paper underneath your fish as you are coloring them, just to protect the tables, which are brand new. So we're trying to keep that new car smell as long as possible.
They're not using it. Raspberry mine, pretty raspberry is.
Yeah, I had to take part of the back and then did front. I like it, but
I can.
Ah, I did not know. Here, the word tessellate and tessellation comes from the Latin word meaning small stones, to pave small stones. So it comes from Latin. But I believe it was attributed to mathematician.
It says pretty, but the cover looks prettier. I like the color of the cover, but I don't like the color of.
Are there any questions or comments online? More than willing to answer any questions you might have.
What color do you want? Oh, this color. I need this. I need this one. I know. Yes. No, it's not. Listen to me. But that's what you did. Is that why Bruce wouldn't?
I love all the tropical fish I'm seeing. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now.
I have a question. So for like this pattern, we're gonna get,
You can send you, I can do, get you paper copy or I can send you. Absolutely. Yeah.
Take one out of the other.
Yeah, we have extra envelopes. You can just take an extra envelope if you want.
Have extra prints or?
I feel like we might. It's fine. It's really dry.
Again, you can put in and out, and the name on the bids. Do all kinds of things.
What grade do you need?
Great.
Okay, I went to the night.
Oh, yeah.
That's right here.
Yeah. Exactly. We'll get to have you.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah, about you, like.
Yeah, pretty much.
You gotta do it, okay, as soon as we leave, yeah. And sign it up. That we have, lots of. Good advice. Few more minutes and then we'll hang up. We'll make create our school.
That's mine.
Are you having fun?
Got the markers.
How have you been?
You distort or fish or curl the edges, so when you're done, if you could kind of flatten them out a bit. We may have to take the edges.
Looks like mine. Yeah. This is a lot thicker, which is sad. But yeah, until I'm not sure when. But I'm good, just working school, busy. Almost done the semester, like less, it's like 30 something more days, so holding on, yeah. Yeah. How have your students been? How have your students been? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of stuff. For their age level. Yeah. I think this fish thing, I think they could do it. People in the shark. And I do, I actually use it. I sent them a video of the kids with the lights. I don't know if you get to see any of what we send back. Super excited.
Oh.
They loved it. And now we're gonna have like a meet and greet with together with parents and their students, and we're gonna use.
It is.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
they'll like,
excited.
the parents who come, have all the little ones. They'll interact with their.
Yeah.
I like that.
You want to
Parents,
use that
like, we're
idea?
doing a parent night. We're excited. We're like,
That's
yeah, let's do
good.
it. Yeah, we're doing that next week. That next week. So whatever I get here, I can say everything.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this whole thing. We can do this too.
No, because in the coloring, they like, for sure.
They can do it with their parents too. An activity of their parents and student night.
Yeah, and it's not really difficult. Yeah.
Because if they're with their parents and they come work together like.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
That's called scribbling. Hey, this back in there. Fix it with that piece of hand. If you want to, that's
As you have finished your
As you have finished your fish, coloring your fish, we would indeed like to hang them up. I've started a fish over on the side wall. And what I mean by hanging them up is we're going to tessellate them. We're going to create a tessellation by fitting them together. We're going to see if they do fit together and make a tessellation. So bring your fish over and we'll see if it will fit into the school.
So can I get?
and how it fits.
I don't know.
All right. Let me give you a few pieces in the back here.
Looks like this.
Looks like what?
And you can,
Oh, look at those.
okay. Maybe you can,
Oh, you just.
What is this?
Silly.
kind of like a puzzle piece. Now we have to fit them together.
Look at everything else is. You know, mine doesn't matter.
All right.
It is.
Is that first?
Yeah.
Put one on the fin just so it, oops.
Starts just like I think. I mean, it's just really strong.
There we go.
It's just, oh. Maybe I should get, and then if I push your, yeah, you might be onto something. Yeah. I didn't realize that. What did you?
Look at everyone else.
Maybe I'll get some.
I know. For my baby. I have to get adults at home.
You can, yeah, you can take, or I can, here, I can make you some, so make a, kind of make a loop. There you go.
Even if you do, they keep coming back, so.
You can block.
Oh, is that what I need to do? Yeah, I have my 23-year-old at home. She's going here. So she gets.
You need one on top here.
Well, it doesn't really do the same color as the marker.
That's your fish. That's your fish. No, he went.
Tony always asks, "You want to go?" You know. You want me to go? Yes, okay.
Oh, is that how?
Beautiful fish. I love it. You bet. Yeah, put one there and there and then right on. Yep. Got your fish? Oh, beautiful. Oh, I love it. Fish in the name. I need to put a fishy. I like it.
It's like a little bit strong, yeah.
Here.
Noodles.
All right, you're ready to go. There you go. Hey. Thank you. And you hold it. Put a few more on there. So, here. And then we'll put one right. Oh. Fingers. Put one right there. You bet. Oh.
Got it, thank you.
No. Mommy's gonna go out and daddy's was gonna be dance mommy. Or mommy, and draw a baby for some daddy. Hey, stick down this.
Look at that. Love it. Oh, those of you online can see it. Thank you, Chris. Colorful fish individually, but we've created a tessellation tile that is indeed tessellate. It's a repetitive pattern, no space in between them. Right, and we created that. Started with a square and just used a translation tessellation to create the fish. Now, this fish, I created myself. It's just with a simple translation, made a cartoon fish. You could do whatever animal or whatever you wanted to do. We're going to give a chance for you to do a freehand type of tessellation and create your own. And sometimes it's kind of a chicken or egg thing. Sometimes you cut the pieces out and create the tile and then say, oh, it looks like a lizard or it looks like a bird. And sometimes you think, like this, I said, I really want to make a fish. How can I manipulate it to do that? And then you kind of play with it back and forth and be able to do that. I'll show you some of what, at the end, I'll show you some of what MC Escher did and as a graphic artist. And he did lizards and fish and birds and has a whole range of tessellations that he created that are just gorgeous and fantastic. And how his mind worked, I don't know. It's amazing what he did. And I'll kind of give you a glimpse into the mechanics of how he did that. But this is a nice, simple way of being able to do that. And if you have the pattern, it's an easy way for your kids to do that either at home or in the classroom. Somebody asked for the pattern for this. You certainly are can get that. We can send you the PDF if you would like, or get you a copy of that to take home if you want a clean copy. That's no problem at all. Any comments, any questions? Cool. Well, let's then take a look at another type of tessellation. Let's see here. Oops. So we looked at a translation tessellation. Now we're going to look at a rotational tessellation. And in this case, what we're going to do, and there you have two options. One is a square and one is a triangle, and I would pick one of those. I actually have a larger, you have a small version on your sheet in your packet. I'm going to hand you out a larger version that's a little easier to do. Um, those of you at home, you have just a smaller version. It's just a little easier to manipulate, especially for small hands. But for a rotation tessellation, in this case, you're cutting out arcs within this square. And then you're pivoting those cutout arcs around a point so that they fold back on itself and then glue into place to make a piece a tile that can tessellate. And so you're just rotating that piece. In this case, you're cutting out each piece and you're rotating it around the right-hand corner, rotating in a counterclockwise direction, and then securing that piece into place to make a tessellation tile. And then what you can do with that, and you can trace around it and see how that then tessellates. So I'll pass out some different examples of that. And you can choose whether you want to do the square or the triangle. Triangle. Okay, there you go. There you go. Square or triangle. So rotation tessellation as opposed to translation. There's the mountain if you want. What color? Yep, absolutely. What do I do with it? Oh, here it is. You're just doing one. The other one you can save. But instead of translating across and gluing it in place, now you're just rotating that piece and attaching it. Now, in this case, all the pieces are symmetric, so it's kind of a moot point, but the pieces do not have to be symmetric. They could be asymmetric, varied. Now, as you are doing this, the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to give you a blank square and a blank triangle, and I'm going to ask you to create your own tessellation. So you might begin to think about what you want to do to create your own tessellation. I love our tropical school of fish. Excellent. What I'm always surprised about is starting out with some are using the square, some in the triangle, but either one of those, I cut those out and I cut out those arcs and I rolled them around and made that tile. And tile looked very different than what I thought it was going to look like, right? I started with a square and a triangle, and it just wasn't the shape I thought it was going to be when I rotated those around. Thought that was interesting. Once you have those pieces taped in place, and then you've created a tessellation tile, so you can put that tile on a blank piece of paper and trace around it with a pencil or a pen. And then move your tile over and line it up and do it again, trace around it again, and move it over, line it up, trace around it again, much like we've lined up our fish. And you should be able to test your tessellation pattern to see how well it does fit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark road, darker.
Yeah. So this is the thing for me to
When they're open. I mean, they're going.
I swear. Once used.
You may, absolutely.
That's right there. Thank you. Yes.
Oh, you went with the marks? Yeah. Oh, I don't have any more yellows. But green or pink? Doesn't matter.
What was it that I did wrong? I can just do. Oh, I say too much.
So some of you have already started or have created your tile and started tracing it. But I call it testing your tessellation as you trace it on your paper and try to create a tessellation pattern. See if you can have that repetitive pattern without without the pieces overlapping and without leaving any voids or blanks with the piece that you have. That's the test for our tessellation pattern, much like you see here. Now, as you were doing your rotation tessellation, I have handed out a very similar page of cardstock, which is your triangle and your square, but now it's a blank triangle and square, or it doesn't have the dotted lines, the arcs that in it. So what I'd like you to do is, those are for creating your own tessellation pattern. And it can be simple tessellation, it could be complex, that's up to you. You could use geometric patterns, you could use straight lines, you could use curved lines, you could do a freehand cut. That you would then translate or rotate, use just like we have looked at here. But you create your own tessellation tile and then test it to see how if it does indeed tessellate. So it doesn't have to be all that complicated, but if you want to make it complex, you can by doing a wild freehand cut out of the middle of one of those squares or one of those triangles, you can. And if everything goes according to plan, it still should tessellate. But let's find out. Yeah.
So, because it has 3 sides, does it have to have 3 outs, or does it?
You can make cuts on all 3 sides. You don't have to.
And it will still populate?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But that's a good question, is you don't have to cut each side to do that, but you can, absolutely. Now, also, I should mention, for those of you, for those of you who have small children, I have a second option for those of you who would like to, instead of creating your own tessellation, one thing you could do is, I bought these online somewhere. These are tessellated shapes. They are made out of plastic. I have a bunch of them over here on the table, and I have a large roll of paper over here that we could spread out on the tabletop. And I haven't tried them all, but supposedly each of these shapes tessellate with each other, with themselves. So if instead of creating a custom tessellation, if you'd like to take one of these fun animal shapes and put it on a large piece of paper and have your kids trace out around that and tessellate that, much like we did setting up with a fish, you can do that. So pieces are over here. Amazon. Yeah, I get everything from Amazon. Amazon knows where I live, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they know where he lives.
I'll see if I can look it up what the name, oh,
Would it
wait,
Like tessellation patterns?
yeah. Yeah, I think so. Maybe I have the packet here. The original. Tessellation Animal Stencils by Royal Co. But yeah, if you put in, I think, tessellation stencils, it'll probably come up on Amazon. And they were under $15, I think, $10, something like that. But it looked like a fun way of being able, especially for the kids that you're working with, would be, you have a large piece of paper, you could stretch out across a couple tables, and there's all kinds of animals there, from sea turtles to octopuses to butterflies, and yep, yeah, I think they would have a lot of fun with that, and then coloring them in. That'd be a fun way to do tessellations.
You don't have to do. Girls are gonna do.
Creating your own tessellation. What I like about it is when you start, you have no idea what the final result will look like. You're flying blind. It's always fun to come up with an unexpected result.
This one was too small.
Is that creative? They're little freedom. Yes. And they were killing her. They were what? Killing her. Good job. Stairs, few different roofs. Like all, and it's the same thing, so she was just. She was tired, she had a bunch of her dad from pastor. This. More things. Can we do one of those animal things?
Don't cut. Yeah. Why'd you cut? You don't have, you have it on the camera.
Where'd you go?
This is that.
Yeah, so great.
I bought. What? Yeah, I think you were. There's not.
We go with this one.
Very nice. Colorful. What? You don't.
What do you want to do next?
Any questions as you're creating your own tessellation?
It all makes sense. Do something about it.
I tried that message. Oh.
I'm always surprised by the different shapes of the tessellations. Tiles. Hmm.
This one was. What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Your little face and you little tiny tail.
Maybe that's why. Like exactly opposite. What do you? So. Well, I didn't, but I want to make sure I have. Here's what no, it's not. What version of the next one? It is. Mine's better. Hey, this is smart, but we have to lost.
Yeah.
As you create,
As you create your tessellation tiles, don't forget to take a picture of them and post them to the Padlet. Love to see your creations. I see some of you are trying the stencils. Let me know how they work.
Me too. Please come too.
For my students, yeah.
I have a large, we have a 2-foot roll of paper if you want to expand it out.
And then you have your. There's some. Like you just have to search for it.
Yeah.
Okay, we do a pattern now.
I don't, yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah, you do.
Make it move on.
So,
I can see using this already. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I went, I was.
Yeah.
I don't know if the house can have under the other from the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's just with the bottom.
No.
Yeah.
Let's keep it contact.
Yellow, you want yellow?
yeah.
We try to post all.
That's the guys underneath.
While you're continuing to tessellate, I might make one other announcement. The reason for all the noise and all the construction, if you don't know, is we are in the middle of building out a big maker studio, which is gonna be just upstairs. The whole patio is gonna be redone. So that's what they're working on. But as we get ready for that maker studio, we kind of want your input on things that can happen in that maker space. So over here, we have a little board, with just a couple of questions. What are things you like to make? What are some materials you like to use? What are things you want to learn about? So if you have some input for us, just come write a little sticky note, stick it on the board, that would be great. Really appreciate your input and feedback on how we can best utilize that maker studio. So we appreciate it. Thank you. And get another bagel. Let's see where. You want to do, let's get this table back here. Yeah, let's use this one.
Audrey, sit down, please. Sit down, Audrey. Sit down, Audrey. Sit down, please. Now, come to sit down. Sit down, please.
As you are working on your own tessellation tile, I've passed you out a interesting shape. Is the best way I can describe it. It's actually a 3D printed shape that I printed out. It's called Einstein's hat. And it is a tessellated tile. It was discovered by a mathematician in 2023, for just a couple years ago. And it forms the first aperiodic tessellation. In other words, most tessellations have a repetitive pattern, a pattern that repeats. That's kind of part of the rules. This breaks the rules. We didn't think this existed up until 2023, up to a couple years ago. And a mathematician found a whole family of tiles. This is a 13-sided polygon that it does tessellate, it does fit together, and there's no space in between them, but there's no repetitive pattern. You can go on for infinity and it never has a repetitive pattern. So this was a really big deal in 2023 when they found it. They won a prize for that, and it has continued. Oh, I think I should put this up online. Sorry, on those online. There we go, Einstein's hat. And you can see there on the picture how they fit together. And it's hard to see probably on the screen, but if you look really close, you'll see there is a impression of a hexagon there. So that's based around a pattern of hexagons. Even though this is a 13-sided polygon, it's overlaying a set of tiled hexagons. So, so who says everything in math has been found, right? This is something very new and was at the time very exciting. And as I said, this is now not the only piece. There are a whole family of these pieces that they are working on and writing theorems around that fit this aperiodic type of tessellation. Most tessellations are periodic. This is aperiodic. So,
Did you ever hear about the patent attorney back in the 1920s? There's gonna be nothing ever that's ever gonna be invented again. What's the patent?
yep. Yeah, well, in the early 1900s, I used to teach physics, and the story was in the early 1900s, they used to tell students that, well, don't go into physics, go into chemistry, go into biology. Everything we know has already been learned in physics. He says, you don't want to go into physics. And we, of course, know that isn't true. Yep, that was 3D printed. And I just downloaded the file off, I think, Thingiverse, a free file, STL file off Thingiverse, and printed it right out.
Are these supposed to?
Yep, absolutely. And you can lay it down and trace around it and tile it out. Einstein's hat. Now, Einstein isn't, I thought originally it's like, oh, well, it must be related to Albert Einstein, right? It's not. Einstein actually means one stone in German. So it means one stone, one tile, one stone for tessellation. So that's where Einstein comes from in terms of Einstein's hat. Or Einstein's tile. It's called Einstein's tile. It's called the hat for short because it kind of looks like a hat.
Actually, that works.
And there's a big dog, this dog, you can put pigs. Now you guys.
A little Escher lizard.
Yeah, take a peek back here, Steve.
That's what I was hoping. Oh, look at them. They do tessellate.
But not in a very,
Not in every direction,
that's a rotational one. This is
a line.
very much a linear one. This one's a. But all a little different.
Oh, I like how the dog goes back and forth.
Yeah.
That does bring up some interesting questions.
Curious how that one's gonna work.
Thank you.
The same thing as that's the.
Are you gonna trace it? Trace that on there? And then see where the next piece goes.
Look at that. I love it. Those eyes.
Design made out of these.
That's the hard part is making your shape look like something, right?
Oh, you can close it.
And I worked a long time on that fish to make it
Different one.
really look like a fish. But that's the fun part too. Yeah. That's why I'd love to have seen his process of how did he, what was the chicken and the egg? What did he start? Did he say, I want to make a lizard or
Space here.
I don't know.
We could untape it and roll it out. You want to hold on to the roll, make sure it doesn't go off the tape. There you go. There you got some space.
Oh, yeah. But, I know that they'll go up and down. Oh, what is that? Wait. Oh, what about?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's maybe like, oh, maybe like, you know. Stop working.
You want to put the little
Okay, not how much budget, okay? Once you hit the burn area, then no touching, okay? Here, you cannot go past here, okay? Because you do way too much. They're really cute. Very good.
We're continuing to work on our custom ones. I'd love to see what you're doing. I've passed out now the Escher lizard, which is also 3D printed. I had said at the beginning that we were going to talk a little bit about MC Escher, and he was a Dutch graphic artist and who many of you may have seen some of his drawings from time to time of infinite stairwells and tessellated animals or objects. But many of his drawings are closely connected with mathematical concepts of infinity and contradiction. He was known for his symmetric tessellations and duplicating patterns of a single tile or multiple tiles. The precision of his work was just really amazing and how they were created. Here's the you're holding the 3D printed tile of the image that is shown on the screen. His repetitive lizards, it's the same tile piece that fits together. So if you would take your tile pieces and put them together, you'll find that they do indeed tessellate. They do connect with each other and group together in large tessellated fashion. So again, I did not create that tile. I just found it on Thingiverse, which is a free site for STL files that you can then print out. And we love MC Escher and we love tessellations, and so we've done a lot of printing of some of his stuff. But I'll give you an example of how he created his lizard. Just a look behind the scenes. MC Escher created his lizard from a hexagon. So much like you're creating your custom tiles, tessellation tiles, he did that to create his lizard. So on the left here, you can see the hexagon shape, which he drew out, or the lizard body is within the hexagon shape. And then each of those cut out pieces, he moved, and the arrows indicate where each of those pieces moved to create those 6 pieces, hexagon, 6 sides, 6 pieces. Each of those 6 pieces moved to create the lizard then that is represented on the right side. And then you can see how that lizard then tessellates. How he created that with such precision, I mean, he was a graphic artist and was incredibly precise in his drawings. I would love to be sat over his shoulder and watched him do that. It would have been amazing.
Probably did it in this.
Yeah, he might have. So there's the lizards that I handed out, how they fit together. And there's another version. Here's a version of the kind of the lizard that I'm showing here that he created. It has a little more 3-dimensional aspect to it. We've printed out a lot of those versions. Matter of fact, here's a wall sculpture that we have upstairs. We maxed out our printer, printing out Escher lizards. They're probably 8 inches in size, and we're able to tessellate them together. It makes quite an impressive sculpture. But here is Escher's graphic lithograph, which is called Reptiles, made in 1943. And if you look closely, look at the paper pad, you'll see the 2-dimensional tessellation of his lizards. And then he made those lizards 3-dimension, crawling out of the page and out and around the structure and then back in. So he was quite amazing in what he was able to draw and how he was able to draw, and that working in that realm between 2 dimensions and 3 dimensions. Kudos to MC Escher.
Is there a reason for the
That I don't know.
What?
The cactus in the bottom left-hand corner.
Right, he's been showing off his art skills. What happened? Do you want to move it more? We need some more space.
Excuse me.
You're big.
All right, how's that? You're welcome. For asking. Because we're gonna have all poster when we're done.
Speaking of art, another place that we see tessellations and another area of interest and obsession for us at the Ames Center is origami tessellations. And we don't often think of origami and tessellations coexisting, but they indeed do. And you can fold a piece of paper into not a flat tessellation, but a three-dimensional tessellation and a repetitive pattern of geometric form. And you can make very interesting shapes and patterns. And this is just a tip of the iceberg. Aileen, I think she may be going to get some examples right now. She is our resident expert in that and has done some amazing things with folding paper and
And one of the telescopes that went up, more recent one, they had a problem where they actually needed the.
Yep.
fans to spread out.
that is the one. Yep. Especially for space sails, if they want to have a sail, a solar sail. Yep. They use origami quite often because you have that restriction of having to put it in a rocket capsule, but you want to spread it up into hundreds of meters. Here, I thought maybe you might. Here's some wonderful examples of three-dimensional tessellations.
These are all moving.
Pattern. What is this called? Do you know?
Marine.
Can you hold those into the camera?
Oh. Oh, now you're going to make me switch again, aren't you? So here's an example of origami tessellations. And like you said, this compacts into a very small container and then can expand back out. So that's your idea of that solar sail is exactly that idea, is that you can reduce the size, volume of it, and then expand it out into a large area.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is that like one picture?
Yep. Yeah, Aileen folded this all out of one piece of paper.
We're gonna have to ask.
No tape, no glue. It's all folds.
Stop.
Yeah, and then it has flexibility, it has structure. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, I want to make those things golf.
And there are quite artists that work a lot in this field in terms of folding paper and putting the light and the shadow at different angles and I won't be able to give you their names, but there's a significant area of work being done in folding of tessellations like this in different patterns.
Yeah, I know.
YouTube, you can find all kinds of things on YouTube. All right, we are nearing our end. We got a little bit of time yet, but we're nearing our end. Does anybody have a custom tessellation they want to show off? Oh, yeah. All right, let's go back to my camera here.
Nice.
Here is I would say that's a rather complex tessellation.
I like the colors.
Did you think it was going to tessellate when you finished putting it together?
If you look at the square, I actually made the square in halves. So that when I made the tessellation, I only used the halves.
Oh, clever.
Good job.
I like that.
Yeah, actually, I was trying to work on a Transylvania Catholic. So one was supposed to be Count Dracula, the other one was a dog. And the other one was a mountain.
I like it.
And you can use whatever you want.
Anyone else have a tessellation they want to show off? I'd love to see it. All right. Look at our dolphin. Dolphin. Yes, could be either. From our templates. Look how that tessellates. They fit right together. Oh, I love that. Nose to nose. I like that.
I think those papers unfold, Steve.
Oh, do they? Oh, oh my goodness.
There you go.
Oh, I was shortchanging you. Look at that.
Like that.
Wow, I love the idea of using different colors like that.
Great thinking.
That is good thinking. Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you very much. Let's show. Oh, look at this. Here is a tessellation. Is a cat. Does cat have a name? No.
Great.
Look at that. The ears, the eyes. It fits together perfectly. Yep, that's a tessellation. Love it. Thank you. All right. Any other examples?
I just like this way. What about we just?
So we looked at a variety of ways of tessellating today, and whether geometric or translation or rotation. And there are a couple of others that we haven't done yet. But give you a good example of some simple ways of how tessellations can be created. You can continue to work. We have some time yet, but let's see. Come on. There we go. We do have one last thing yet that I don't know how successful it was, but I got a green frame in there. But we were having fun. You can go ahead and pull the paper towels off that. I love 3D printing. So I was looking up 3D printing of the Einstein tile, the hat, and the fish that we 3D printed, and I found that you can 3D print a tessellation. You can 3D print tessellation cookie cutters, and so well I had to try that out. So I 3D printed a couple of cookie cutters based on Einstein's fish, which you see here on the left is flying fish. And bird or fish, it depends on how you look at it, your interpretation. But my wife generously spent an evening we made cookies, and they are in the back of the room. So I would say as a tessellation, cookies move, they flex, they maybe not quite fit together, and they may not fit the definition of tessellation quite as well as we would like, but you get the idea. And how well they taste. They don't taste as good as a chocolate chip cookie, but I am preference to a good chocolate chip cookie. But you are welcome to go back and take a look. Take as many cookies home with you as you would like, and use that as a snack. Don't leave them there for me to eat. I don't need them. But that's another example of a way you can show tessellations in the classroom. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, we have about 20 minutes left. So if you want to continue to work and on what you're doing, we have bagels and coffee and snacks left. We have cookies at the end. Evidently the sidewalk now is open and free for us to use. So if you would, you can use the sidewalk walking around. You don't have to traipse through the uneven dirt. And hopefully this is indeed our last play shop of the year. And we have all hopes by next year. We'll continue to do play shops next year. We haven't finalized that list yet of what that will look like, but we will do that yet this spring and this early summer, and let you know by fall. And it will be in our new maker space and on our plaza, newly minted plaza outside, and it will be quite exciting. So come back, see us online if you're there. And we've got lots of fun things planned for next year.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming all this way.
Thanks for those of you who came to more than one. Did anybody make it to all?
The new schedule?
Oh,
Leave
okay.
us your email address, we'll for sure let you know. I can give it down, but we'll, let us know. We've been so busy, we haven't had time to sit down and finalize it. But we're probably in the next couple month or so, we're planning to. Everyone's put that out. And then we'll